Welcome in on another episode of the KIPS Podcast. My name is Tyler Valencia. I'm the president of KIPS and Time to Train Fitness, and I'm pretty excited about this episode. First of all, this is our 100th episode. I didn't know when the 100th episode would come. I didn't plan out, but I did in the back of my head think, okay, I want a fun episode. And I have one of my good friends, Janice Jaicks, the owner of Fitness Fest, on here to talk about some really good tips for fitness instructors. And the fact that it just worked out, Janice and I I'm trying to think back, it's at least more than that.
5-ish years, I think.
6-7 years that we've known each other. We both live in the Phoenix area. And she's been somebody that has been such a great individual that has helped me get my name out there. She's helped promote KIPS. And the fact that she's on it for the 100th episode means a lot to me. So first of all, Janice, thank you for coming on for this special episode for me.
Yes, I am so excited. And before we hopped on, you told me it was the 100th episode. And so that is very cool. Like you said, good juju.
Exactly. Good juju. I'm all about the good juju, especially in 2024. Now,
yes.
I'm going to get to some admin items here. If you are already following KIPS on Facebook or in our private group or even on YouTube, you know that I mentioned how the next upcoming conference that I'll be speaking at is Fitness Fest, and that is in April. And Janice and her team have created a discount code. So 20% off if you are in the Phoenix area, if you want to travel to Phoenix for this. I've spoken at Fitness Fest, I think 3-4 times. And there's a 20% off coupon code. It's KIPS Podcast, which will be put in the description for this episode. So save money, come out to Phoenix, enjoy the weather. It's just before it becomes the surface of the sun. So it's a great time to be out here and enjoy the weather and get your education, get your CEUs. So let's kick this episode off with, for the listeners, Janice, can you talk about your background so that any new listeners, they know who you are? How did you get started in the fitness industry and what you're doing now?
Right. Well, I probably have everyone's got a different story, but I probably have a different story than others. I was pregnant with my daughter, Tara, who is now 38. And I was taking a prenatal aqua exercise class at the Mesa YMCA. I live in Mesa, Arizona, which is outside of Phoenix. And the instructor asked, I was at the point in my life that I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up. So my mom called me a late bloomer, but I finally bloomed. And here I am. So the instructor asked me if I wanted to teach. And to this day, I'm not really 100% sure why. Maybe I just looked good and I was motivated and maybe I was smiling. And I'm like, okay. So I started learning from her. She was my mentor. And so I started teaching water aerobics and swim lessons at the Mesa YMCA. I quickly learned that I didn't want to stay there. I have an entrepreneurial spirit in my blood from my dad, I guess. And so I started teaching all over in my friends' backyards. I started teaching swim lessons. I quickly really grew. It was when Ahwatukee, if you know, Ahwatukee outside of Phoenix was just small. And then so it was just all young families. So my swim lesson business, my water aerobics business was blooming. So I became, of course, incorporated, got different certifications, mentor from other people, learned some, different skills about teaching swim lessons and water aerobics. I was so busy that I hired other instructors. And fast forward a bit, I had aqua workshops with Connie Lagerhausen, who was always at Fitness Fest as well. And we had mini aqua workshops and they were pretty popular. And I acquired a mailing list from a company that is long defunct called Aquafest. I acquired, they handed it to me, which will never happen, by the way. So it was the right place, the right time. And I started Fitness Fest, which is a Fitness Fest conference and expo, is a conference for fitness professionals, aqua instructors, group fitness, personal trainers, yoga, Pilates, bar, all that. But when I started, I only did aqua. So when I started at our health club in Chandler, where I actually was the fitness coordinator for many years, we had 66 people and I had to beg people to come into anything but the aqua classes. We actually had the big name like Jay Blanick was there like at our first or second conference, so we had to beg people to go into the step class. So figuring out how to market to the trainer and to the yoga instructor and the group X. So along the way, figuring out how to market to those different formats. And, we grew out of the health club. We were at ASU for many years. We were at different venues for Fitness Fest. We're going into our 27th year at Fitness Fest. We're at a facility called Ability 360, which is right near the airport, aloft by Marriott Hotel, which is a great place to stay. You talked about people visiting. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of out-of-state people who come to us. And of course, weather is one of them. I am super proud of our event this year. We have just such a unique variety. And that's what everyone I've been talking to lately is saying is, gut health and holistic training. And we have a rock climbing. And, we have your personal trainer stuff and your aqua stuff and your group X stuff and all that. But just some really different things as well. So I'm the owner of the Fitness Fest Conference and Expo. I do not have my own aqua fitness class anymore. However, my aqua fitness business, my water aerobics business has exploded. We offer it as a service all across the valley, has exploded since COVID. Yeah. And so retirement homes, 55 and older homes. And so that's a big part of my business. I still have my swim business, which is called Desert Swim School, the Fitness Fest Conference and Expo. Probably about 10 to 12 years ago, we started working with different Native American communities, and we help them plan their diabetes events, or we hire chefs, all that. So it's a variety of things. I wish I could focus on one thing, but I can't.
No, I say all the time that once you get rolling in this industry, you realize that you're typically not doing one thing. I mean, I feel like it's very rare to find a personal trainer or even a group exerciser that's it. That's all they do. Like, even saying that, when I was a personal trainer, I was also a group exercise instructor. And then you were trying to do affiliate stuff. And then you're teaching classes, youth classes outside of the gym. All these different things start to add up because that's part of our industry. And I think that you have expanded in a way that's part of our industry. You expanded and you saw your opportunities and you grew in those. And where I'm going to transition this episode to right now is with the conferences, because I still meet fitness instructors, whether it's through networking or through business or just around, that they have never been to a fitness conference. And I was in that department before I spoke at my first fitness conference. I'd never been to one. I didn't know what to expect. And I will say I didn't take advantage of those opportunities when I was in my undergrad. My undergrad program, my department chair, she would always say, "Hey, you guys can get all these classes for free. You just have to volunteer." And I was like, I'm not going to go do that. My weekend, I was young and I need my weekend, whatever. And I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I missed out on these opportunities because of the networking, the variety that you get. Exactly.
Beyond. Yeah.
It's huge. And for you, what do you usually, let's say that you have someone in that area I've never been to one. I don't know what they're like. What are some tips that you're going to give them for picking classes? Do you think staying inside their comfort zone, or, maybe picking something that's maybe a little bit weaker for them? Where do you usually go with this question?
I recommend taking things that you like, of course. And let's say you're a group fitness instructor and you like high fitness or Zumba or whatever, so that you can, it's because you like it and it is your comfort zone and you will have fun with it and you'll learn some different things. But definitely also out of the comfort zone, and definitely opening yourself. And I know you didn't ask this specifically, but opening yourself up to different, and this is probably out of your comfort zone, but different opportunities to talk to people, to connect to people. This in person, it cannot be beat, and you do not know it unless you've been to it. But the different opportunities, whether it's big or small or just making a friend, you can't do that online. And I know that I'm not knocking online, but the connections and the buzz and the vibe, the feeling, the motivation that you will get when you're there and after, it's indescribable. I just want to share that one for me, when I was at ASU, when we were at ASU, Fitness Fest with ASU, I'll never forget the feeling of standing in that group, in that gym or that group fitness room, and seeing all the like-minded people moving and grooving. Can we say grooving? It's kind of an old term. I'm giving my age away. And I'm like, I had goosebumps all over my body. It's such a great feeling. So, the motivation, the connection, and like, so picking out of your comfort zone, but just really like we at Fitness Fest have so many choices. We've been told, gosh, it's hard to pick. So just really taking time, if you decide to come to a conference, especially Fitness Fest, and take the time to read the descriptions and think about it. And go out of your comfort zone. And some might be personal interests, like I'm interested in gut health. I'm interested in fascia. I'm interested, so for your personal self, and you never know what that might turn into other, getting more clients if you had a little education on that as well.
Yeah. I mean, along with the CEU value, I mean, I feel like one of the big pieces. You get such a good value in that area. I can't tell you how many times I see people posting, "Oh, how do I get my CEUs?
How do I get
my budget is XYZ."
CEUs.
I didn't want to say cheap, but
that's what they're asking.
That is what they're asking. But that is, along with that, going back to the networking part of it. I myself, as a presenter, I'm bad at this with the. It's one of the reasons why I buy business cards. My KIPS is online, so I don't really use a business card that much, but I can tell you that there are like-minded people there. If you have in your mind that you're thinking, okay, I want to network, I want to see what other opportunities are to network and grow my business and outside of my local area or even inside, there will be a ton of people there as well that they'll want to talk, like, where do you work? Okay, well, I work in this adjacent town. Oh, do you want to do a video, or what do you think about a podcast, or what do you think about the XYZ? There are so many people
just never know
there that you will walk away with this high feeling, like all these business opportunities, and you wouldn't even thought that those would come, but there's so many people there that like that. I can say that the last conference that I spoke at, that I at the end of a session, I chatted with a couple individuals, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'd like to get you for on our YouTube channel too. Like, we're thinking about starting a podcast. Oh, we want to have you come on." And these are attendees. They are going there to network because they know the value of it, which is huge.
Yeah. And speaking of that, like, what I love about our presenters, and you are one of our great ones, we're approachable. And want to connect with the attendees. The attendees want to feel part of it and the whole picture. And our presenters are not divas, and they want to help you, and they want to keep in touch with you, and it's reciprocal. So that's really cool stuff too. And like I said, you never know what you never know. And we have so many different. I've been talking to a lot of industry leaders. And over the past, since last summer when I went to Idea World, and what we all know that our in-person numbers are down a little bit since COVID. So we have to be honest about that. How do we get more people interested, like you mentioned? And one of the things that we really talked about and came up with, and that I know we're making a success of our April 25th through 28th Fitness Fest. See, I threw those dates in there.
That's good.
Like that.
Very good.
Is making it experiential. And so we have made our expo fun. We have expo demos. We've got a rock climbing wall. We have yoga on the roof. So making it fun and making it an experience, not just the CEUs, not just the connection, but all of it. And we've got an opening ceremony that we've never had before. And it's going to be an energy connection kind of thing. And a lot of people, even though they're instructors and trainers, I have found are introverts. And I've had actually one woman just call me the other day and said, "Coming by myself, I'm an introvert, but I'm starting this business and I've never been before." And I'm like, you know what? You're just going to love it. And the opening ceremony there's going to be some exercises that kind of help you get into the weekend, and hopefully also your life of learning how to connect and reach out and be a listener and be a connector. So we're excited about the opening ceremony. We're excited about all the speakers, and we've got a happy hour with Samantha Clayton. I just can't even tell you how much great stuff we have to make it fun, experiential, and of course educational. So of course you're going to walk away with education, new moves, new education, and whole lot of value. So
that's such a good point I think you made about presenters being approachable. I think that sometimes people see a presenter like, oh, like they won't give me the time of the day. And the majority of presenters that I know, they are all very approachable and they like that. They want that. I know that myself.
Yeah.
I still, even though I'm trying to think how many years I've been speaking at conferences, it has to be at least 6, 7. And I still like, oh, people want to talk to me. Like I get all excited about it.
Yeah.
And
right.
I know that people, instructors, they like that, they want to help. And if you show that interest, like, ooh, slide, at 5, you had this image up there. Oh, can you tell me a little bit more of that? I think in my business, it'll work. Instructors, presenters will gladly break it down further for you. They'll give you information, their email address. So you have a direct line of contact with them because again, I think it's about growing your own business, but I think that people want to help each other. And I think sometimes we get told, okay, it's you versus every other instructor. Oh, you need to be competitive. I think that's the mindset from maybe 10, 15 years ago. But having a better mindset about it is, I think, it's a better approach. But let me segue here to a different question that's along the same topic with education and hopefully making it past those initial stages with being in the fitness industry. I think it's an industry that's hard to make it past those first couple of months, make it past the first year, in my opinion, just based off of working for gyms, education companies, myself, that typically, the turnover happens less than a year because you're not making a living on it. And this episode, we're trying to get those small details that, okay, here's why you should go to a conference, or here's how you can approach XYZ. And so you, Janice, with all your different experiences, what is maybe a tip for a fit pro, an instructor, to make it past that first year, those first couple of years that you're struggling? What are some tips that you have for them?
Well, find a mentor. And, and most instructors or trainers, I don't know about most, but, things are different now. I was a fitness coordinator in Chandler for probably 15 years. And that was probably at least 10 years ago and, way before COVID. So, but I would hope that a majority of instructors and trainers, they want to mentor you. And whether it's because they're an egomaniac or because they're just, when you're an instructor or trainer, you got to have a little ego, right? But we also, I'm a kind person and I love helping people. So find a mentor and find different kinds of mentors in different formats, because you can't just teach a class, or you can, but 30, 40 hours a week. So you've got to find different, go outside the box, whether it's getting, tips from somebody like you, Tyler, on online. And, I see in Facebook groups, like I just saw this question the other day, like, I want to start an online business. What should I do? I'm like, people can't answer that in 5,000 text messages in a Facebook. You've got to find a real expert and a real mentor to really get those tools on there. So you've got to go out of the box. You've got to find mentors. You've got to see what interests you might like. Maybe you're a personal trainer, but you also have an interest in, gut health, let's say, or maybe you're a group exercise instructor and you also, are interested in, learning bar or Pilates or whatever. So, and then maybe you have some private clients with that, but teach at a club, for other things. So there's lots of different opportunities there. There's lots of, in the Phoenix area, the 55 and older communities and the retired, huge. So instructing there, training there, they need help. And so, think about what you like and what, write some things down about what your interests are, and then pick people's brains that they say surround yourself with smarter people than you and people who know more than you. And there's so many of those people for me. So, and that's how you become more versatile, and just remember your why and remember why you got into it, and just go with your passion. I mean, I'm going to say my age on national viral.
on a
And
podcast.
I'm 68 years old and I've still got so much life in me and so much passion and so many more ideas for, we do aqua and the natives and, my personal business coaching and just like, so it's, I'm still passionate about it after 38 years and managing the water aerobics. And we just had a meeting last night and it was so cool. We had this big Zoom meeting for all our aqua fitness instructors. And it was just, I'm so grateful for being in this industry because it is very exciting. But I sidetracked there, but
That's
I
okay.
just had to
That's
say
okay.
that. Yeah.
With I'm going to go back to with the mentorship and managers, and because I'm going to pinpoint an exact point in my career where it definitely helped. And I talked about this in a recent podcast episode. I believe it was my fitness manager at the time. This is my first ever time being in the fitness industry, being a personal trainer. And my fitness manager said, "Hey, I'm going to put you in touch with," her name was Becky. And she was the top trainer at the gym. And he's like, "She's going to show you around the gym." And I had no idea what she was going to do. Essentially, it was her hour off in the middle of the day. And I remember she put on her gloves. And if anybody worked in the South Bay of California it was called Spectrum at the time, they know who Becky Newman is. And she puts her gloves on and essentially she walked me around the whole gym. We're cleaning up the gym and she's also giving me tips at the same time. And one of those ones that really stood out was about topics to converse with your clients, but also with ways to engage with them. If you're coming into the industry, not everybody's going to have the same likes as you. So finding out what audiences in the gym, what they like. So I'm a male and I don't know much about, at the time, I didn't know much about cooking, maybe house stuff, but yet in the middle of the day, who's at the gym, who's able to come to the gym, and they think about those audiences and what they like. And that tip it stood with me for the longest time because I would watch things and seek out information in these different areas. And the takeaway that I'm trying to point out here is with mentorship or even finding those people in the gym that can help you out, they are willing to. And sometimes you just have to make sure that you listen and you're not trying to talk over them while they're providing this information. But I'm sure with what you mentioned, how the people in the gym, fitness instructors, they do want to give that information back. A quick little promo break here in this episode. If you're a fan of the KIPS podcast, you know that at some point there's a promotion for the Naboso Duo insoles. I just pulled these out of my shoes, gave them a quick rinse to get the sock dust off of them, and I wanted to talk about them because they're great. They're fantastic. They make an impact on your daily life. If you sit at a desk or if you're on your feet, sometimes your feet just feel achy, or maybe they feel like they went to sleep. That's for myself. I felt like after working a full day that my feet did not want to go to the gym, work out, do something active, and it led to some bad habits. But with these, I feel more active. I feel like I can do more things, and I've been using them for over a year now. With your clients, with your family, with your friends, share them, talk about them, see what they think, because they really do make a difference. If your feet feel more active, you're going to be more active, and that equates to being more healthy. Check them out. There's a link in the description. See all the products they have, and let's get back to this episode. But let me segue onto another tip here that I think that you have a good perspective on, because with being a fit pro, fitness instructor, and this is something that I know you're really good at, is negotiating. And with negotiation, it's a part of the job. I know that sales courses, there should be more of them in our industry. People should hopefully get more insight than okay, you have to do a hard sell and you can do it your own way. And with negotiating, I think that you can provide some good insight to instructors. This is a valuable tool. If you want to stay in the industry, you have to know how to do it. So, Janice, what are some tips that you have for individuals that they're going to the negotiating table, and what types of things should they focus on?
I was really glad to see this question when you sent me the questions, because I feel it's one of my strong suits. And the scenario or the situation I'm going to give you, kind of give it is about education sponsors and keynote sponsors that we do for Fitness Fest. So if you're thinking about, if you're a personal trainer or group X, so kind of like pivot that and think about what I'm saying can apply to that.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, we have people who pay us to come to Fitness Fest because they have a product or a service that our target audience, the fitness professional, it will benefit them. So what I will try to find out, I have a conversation, typically Zoom is my favorite, or in person when I go to IDEA. And I listen, like you said, really listen to what their product or service is and what would benefit them and what our target audience benefit them. So I find out as much as I can. And if I think they're a good fit, and to be honest, if I don't think they're a good fit, then I won't push it. It's a cliche to say win-win, but I want it to be, obviously I'm a business person. I'm in business to stay in business. I'm in business to help people, but I'm in business to make money. So I want it to benefit me, and I want it to be attractive to Fitness Fest attendees and participants, but what benefits them. So once I know what benefits them, and then I can tell them all about Fitness Fest. And I could go on forever about why, what we're all about and who we're about and our integrity and what are really our pinpointing our niches in our target audience. And it usually, sells them. And again, sales people are if you believe in what you sell, I'm not going to go sell Nissans or Teslas. But I believe in my products. I believe in my Aqua Fitness. I believe in my Fitness Fest. I truly do. Going into 27 years, you gotta. So that's is what I would say about negotiating. Just listen and then talk, and then this is the price, or this is what we've got. So, and I have to admit that sometimes if I really want something or somebody, then I cave. So, so I take a little less. So that's my. Hopefully that's what you're looking for, and that I shared.
Yeah.
So,
I think that when I think about times that I negotiated, let's say, a personal training package, so maybe I was working at a gym, or even when I owned my own business, it was boot camp and personal training. The element that you mentioned that I think some people don't really, that doesn't convert in their head, is tell them all the great things that you can do for them. The great things. They're worried that, they want to, I think some manuals talk about, ask them questions, ask them X, Y, Z. And I think sometimes instructors will forget to, here's all the great things.
Here's what I can do for you.
Exactly. Because they're trying to ask more questions to them. And can both work? Yes. But also, if you are so passionate about what you offer, and I know that listeners will get that from you as they're listening to this podcast here, you're very passionate about Fitness Fest, you're very passionate about Aqua, that they can hear, Fitness Fest, I want to go to that. Where do I sign up for it? And the same thing when you're negotiating a personal training package, or maybe a boot camp class, whatever it might be, show that passion. Because if you're just saying, sitting there, just monotone, here's what we have. Do you want to sign up for this? Who's going to want to pay for that? It's an investment, especially these days where people are a little bit tighter on the budget.
And an investment in their time. If they've got a goal, let's say for personal training, whether it's reducing your blood pressure medicine, your cholesterol, or losing weight, or toning, or being stronger, or being able to get off the floor, balance, whatever the case may be, you've got to prove to them as a trainer, or tell them how you can, your experience and how you can help with that, and what you can't guarantee results, but you could coerce them this is what we're going to do. We're going to do A, B, C. We're going to work up to this. It's going to take a while to get to this point, but these are the things we're going to work on. So
I think that some instructors might think, because they see others in the gym, that they're honestly, I call them unicorns, that people can just tell their clients, hey, go buy this package, go do this, that those are 1 in a million instructors, that they have that, I don't want to call it no shame, but they just have the ability just to tell their clients or potential clients, you need to buy this package and here's what it costs.
Just because. just because, right?
Yeah, that's just some individuals have that. The majority of us don't have that. And so working on that presentation, that negotiating and showing your passion, I think is the best takeaway that any of us can do.
Yeah.
With now going to more of the group fitness area, I hope listeners have kind of seen, trying to hit all areas of your background here to pull from and provide some, again, tidbits that we can apply for 2024 and hopefully improve our careers, improve our business. With now group fitness, community has always been, I feel like it was a very hot topic in 2020 when things were shut down. We need community. That was a word that everybody was using. And
community. Yeah.
When you start a new class now, you're told, okay, you need to build your community. You need to do X, Y, and Z. You need to show up before, you need to stay after, you do all these things. And there's so many targets that you have to hit in your first class, along with teaching it with music, so many different things. But what are some of the keys that you recommend for that new instructor, the new group fitness instructor? They're showing up and they want to make sure they provide a great service, a great class. What do you recommend for them?
Well, be welcoming. Be on time, be early, be welcoming, be approachable. I was just at a yoga class last week and the instructor was good, and she was early. And I always go early to a yoga class. I think it's very important. And so she was probably 10 minutes early and the class started coming in and she sat there on the little podium, just sat there waiting for class to start. Never said hi, never walked around the room, never said, this is what you should, this is the equipment. She just sat there until, okay, it's 8:30, time to start. My name is blah, blah, blah. I was like, why didn't you start walking around the room? So be approachable, be welcoming. You also have to survey your class, and that may take getting into the class for a few minutes before you realize, oh, I thought this was going to be a really fit class, but they can't get off the floor, or whatever the case may be. So surveying, what I tell my aqua fitness instructors about levels, I say teach to the person with the higher fitness level and definitely be really specific on your options. Be really specific, not just say go your own pace. That's one of my pet peeves, and I've got many. But what does that mean? So offering options. So, surveying and just assessing, and maybe you had a plan and maybe you're going to have to make it a little bit of a plan B, but definitely offering options. I wrote down some notes here, and being approachable before and after class. So those are the things that I would say.
I think that's what you mentioned about before the class. It's almost, as I'm stumbling over my words, it's almost mind-boggling to me that that's such a low-hanging fruit that you could go around your class and just
you're there anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, that could be with some instructors. They got their egos and they believe that they're already famous people, but that's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah,
with the
I love
class
that.
to get to know their names. I can still, to this day,
even if you don't remember their name, you're going to ask them anyway.
I was going to say that I don't remember anybody's name in any class that I've taught, but they appreciate it. If you ask them, oh, what's your name? And you say it during the class, ooh, they get so excited because you paid attention.
So true.
You motivated them. And
make an effort. I often would write people's names down. I'd have a little, okay, this is Anna. This is, she's got a blue bathing suit on. I have to say one more thing, because also being aware, and you're not just the diva up there, being aware, because I was also in a class a few weeks ago that it was yoga and it was freezing and there's shavasana, turn the lights off, turn the fans off. Don't you realize that now we're cooling down and your freaking fans on? So being aware of not just the structure of the class, that's important, but how are people feeling? People starting to put their winter jackets on, and being aware of that, I think, is really important as well. So
that's a good one right there. Something that came up in my head too. What would you say about hard situations in terms of, let's say you're a new instructor, and we'll use the yoga example. I don't take yoga, but let's say that someone passes the gas in class, and how would you, if you're a new instructor, are you just ignoring it? Are you addressing it? With group fitness, I mean, there's other examples. Let's say somebody,
the pass the gas, I think you just have to ignore.
yeah.
So
The other example I was thinking of is like somebody that has bad BO. These are things that come up in group fitness. Maybe somebody's overly sweaty. If you're a new instructor, what would you say to them in terms of like, how would they address it, or how should they potentially address it?
Oh, that's really tough. I would almost say that you would have to, that's something that maybe would be a teeny announcement before or after class. And the same like with the cell phones, like you'd think it would be a no-brainer, but like, please make sure your cell phone is off. Be mindful of the students around you. If, I don't know, you can't really say if you smell. Did you wear your deodorant today? I don't know. That's a tough one. You didn't put that in the questionnaire, Cher. So
I think that I'll admit it, that I was never good at those as a instructor. I would just let them pass. Hopefully they would just continue on.
Let them pass gas.
Yeah, if it happens. But
it happens, and it's normal. And I don't think anybody would really expect you as the instructor to say anything about that. And I think if students would come up to you and say, look, this is a chronic thing about this guy's BO or whatever, then maybe you would have to kind of, I don't know what you would do, talk to your manager. But one more thing I wanted to say is, you want to be in charge of the class. You're the boss of the applesauce. That doesn't mean you're snotty. It doesn't mean the shit doesn't stink. You did say I could swear, right? That was like.
I think it's fine.
So, okay.
Well, that's a good point. I think guests or members, they appreciate that type of outlook, that you do have command of the class, but at the same time, you accept feedback. You're approachable, and that they feel like they can come to you with something that maybe they have an injury that's not as like a visible injury, and they don't want to talk about it in class. That they do feel comfortable enough to go up to you. I think that is the point I want to make. I think
that's something that should, I used to mention all the time in the beginning of class, and then maybe also mention it at the end of class. Like, I would love your feedback. I'm going to be here, for the next 5 minutes or whatever. And now, back in the day, classes were back to back to back to back. And now they still usually have that, a little time in between it. So, and I think that's an important time. And then as far as the personal trainers, just also not being a diva and not being, taking in charge of your client. And I just want to say one thing that I see different trainers doing at one place that I go. It's like they're talking about their person. I've had trainers in the past, and I am here to get my safe and effective workout from you. I am not here to listen to what you did at the bars last weekend, And sometimes when you know a trainer for a long time, you end up being friends. And that's when it gets to a point where this trainer is probably, it's, and I, when I see it at gyms, I'm like, oh, I cringe. So it's not that you're not friendly. It's that remember what your why is and what your job is make sure you're giving the workout that is designed for them. It's not an everything fits. That drives me crazy. Everyone is different.
So getting here to the podcast takeaways and talking about all the items that we've had in this episode, I think there's been a lot of great information for instructors to take away. And if you are already in the industry, of course, it'd be great to contribute in terms of what you think about each of these items, because really this podcast is about giving instructors insight and valuable information to help others grow. And now getting to our last question here for you, Janice. What are 3 items that you've seen evolve over the years, the last 3 years in the fitness industry?
Well, I've got to say active aging, and even though that's more than 3 years, but it has exploded over the past probably 8 to 10 years, but definitely is still very strong in the past 3 years and currently. As far as, Fitness Fest attendees, they cling to they flock to the active aging workshops and seminars. Functional training, not just your, let's do, hammer curls and let's do that. It's like how, as people get older, it's like we want to be able to play with our grandkids. We want to be able to get off the floor. We want to be able to reach. We want to be able to still drive activities of daily living. So functional training, I think, has evolved over the last 3 years. And then I'm going to say gut health and holistic type. And we're big on that at Fitness Fest, and they're very popular. And I believe fitness professionals over the past, let's use your 3 years, a lot of us have, and not everybody, but a lot of us have really like what's important in life and what is the whole picture of the balance of life and, being content, being happy with what we're doing, not being in a dead end job. And the fitness industry is such a rewarding and amazing field to get into. So if your listeners are in it now, stay with it, expand, grow. And if you're thinking about it, this is it. And whether you want to work with kids or older adults or young people or teenagers or whatever, there's a place for you. And it's so important, especially with, I'm going to say it, with what I think the health industry is today, a mess. And so we have to take over. We have a big responsibility to take over and to change the world and make it a better place and make people healthier. The United States, the obesity and everything. So holistic healing and gut health, I think. So it's never 3 simple answers for me, Tyler. Okay, there you go.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You know that.
Yeah. The holistic one, I think, is a very good one because I know that I've gone over those issues myself over the last 3 to 5 years with not just thinking about, okay, it's nutrition or it's just weightlifting. Okay. 5-10 years ago, maybe it was, okay, you just need to push harder in the gym if you want to be in shape. But now we know, okay, how is your sleep? Are you getting enough sleep? Okay, if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering. How is your recovery program? Are you stretching? Are you taking any supplements to help your recovery? All these different things go into it instead of just, you need to lift more weights or you need to do X, Y, Z in the gym to feel better when it's such a complete package. And
it's everything. A complete package.
Yeah. So good ones. I like those ones. Before we sign off here, Janice, can you throw in your social media links, ways for people to contact you, more information about Fitness Fest, all that great stuff?
Okay. So, you can certainly email. I'd love to hear from people. So, even Janice, and I'm Janice @fitnessfest.org, at Fitness Fest events. That is our, you should know these things by heart. But let's see. So at Fitness Fest events, and follow us on Instagram. We're pretty active Instagram and Facebook, and we have a private Facebook group called Friends of Fitness Fest. So if you go to Fitness Fest, you can join from there. So yeah, those are the ways to. I'd love to hear from people. This has been super fun. I always love doing, podcasts and getting in front of people and talking. It's just, it's one of my favorite things to do. So I appreciate you asking me.
Yes,
it's
definitely.
Been fun for the 100th episode.
Those links will be in the description for listeners.
Let's hear. Fitness Instagram is fitnessfest.events. I suck at this, Tyler. And Facebook is @FitnessFest. So there you go. And Janice @fitness.org. So it's in my email signature, so I had to check it out.
Those links will be in the description as well to help streamline the process. Janice, thank you for coming on for the 100th episode and sharing some great information. Having you on has really been a treat for me. And I think it's been a very informative, but also it's been a fun episode. I think people will hear it and they'll get that. They'll be, oh, wow, they probably had a great time. Because we did have a good time filming this one. And
we always do have a good time together, Tyler. Thank you so much.